Classifications of etiological factors. We've mentioned so many etiological factors. Factors of environment. We have several categories, and we'll introduce it one by one. Factors of environment. Biological agents, physical agents, and chemical agents. Biological agents, it's easy to understand. For example, the bacteria, the viruses we've mentioned, and physical, like car accident. You got beaten up by the gangsters, that's physical agents. And chemical agents, strong acid can cause damage of our tissue. That's a very good example. Or if you take poisonous substance into your system, you will suffer from it. Inherited factors, gene mutation. For example, this picture I've shared here with you is Down syndrome. It's a genetic aberrancy, may be caused by single or polygenic mutations. Chromosomal aberration. These are all inherited factors. Genetic predisposition. We mentioned predisposing factors. Here we have genetic disposition. The genetic mutations cause problems only when a person is exposed. Sorry, I miss X here. To certain environmental agents. This genetic predisposition, we call it genetic susceptibility too. A pair of genes decides a kind of disease. If the person had genetic problems caused one gene of this pair has been damaged when the person is born, the environmental agents only need to damage the other one, the person will suffer from this specific disease. Compared with people who are born with both healthy genes, it only takes half efforts to cause this person with gene deformity to catch or to suffer from this disease. This kind of phenomenon, we call it genetic predisposition. Congenital factors. Congenital factors is different from inherited factors. Inherited factors we've mentioned is related to a problem to the gene, and it to carry to the next and next generation. But the disease, the congenital disease won't. It's a kind of disease of a developmental nature, and most of them are non-genetic, like the hair lip, And also, do you see the right side of the picture next to the hair lip? Children with no limbs, and the lady. It's caused by a medicine during the first trimester of pregnancy to stop all this morning sickness and vomiting. The side effect is to cause the congenital factor. Many people of that generation suffered from this disease. That was the reason that medicine was stopped immediately when those kind of problems start to show up on the newborn. And nutritional imbalance, either excesses or deficiencies of nutrients, predispose cells to injury. And here is a comparison. The left side is deficiency or excess. Yes, excessive intake. And the right side is deficiency. No food, hunger, cause lack of nutrition dramatically. The immunological factors. I think most of you have suffered from allergy, especially as some people suffered a lot in the season of spring because they are allergic to the pulse or the fragrance, I would say, from the blossoms. And also anaphylactic reaction, that's allergic, that's allergy. And autoimmune disease, SLE, is a typical one on the right picture. And we'll learn this later on in your subject of internal medicine, which you have already started, I think, this semester. Yeah, you have this. No, that's your senior. Okay, sorry for that. Let's continue. Immunodeficiency disease, HIV. HIV is an abbreviation of what? Human immunodeficiency virus. Psychological and social factors. Fidget. Do you fidget? Are you getting very uptight or anxious when you're going to speak in public? These are all the emotions, the feelings most of us had suffered from. Anxiety, strong or persistent psychological stimulation or stress may lead to mental illness and may be related to some disease, such as hypertension, peptic ulcer, coronary heart disease, and depression. These are all psychological and social factors. Pathogenesis, the mechanisms of disease. Pathogenesis of disease refer to the rules and the mechanisms, how it works, underlining the development or evolution of disease. It studies how the primary pathological agents cause disease in organisms and how the disease develops. It's a process. And basic mechanisms of disease can be divided into several, these four aspects. It's a neural mechanism, humoral mechanism, cellular level mechanism, and molecular mechanisms. And more people are doing research about the molecular level mechanism of different kind of diseases. And you may become a scientist to work on this level of research in future. You're young and full of opportunities and hope about the future. Okay, I'm going to do a brief introduction about these four aspects of mechanism. Neural mechanism. Our nervous system plays a central role in regulating entire life activities. Therefore, the disorder in central nervous system will definitely affect the corresponding peripheral system. Easy to understand. I think we started to understand it when we began the first medical subject as a medical student, which was, yes, anatomy. And the humoral mechanism, the hormones, the chemical mediators, and the cytokines. They are all hormonal factors. And pay attention to this picture. You've noticed there are some substance produced by one cell. By one cell, and it's secreted into the blood vessel, then transported to other cells and work work on the other cells. These other two cells on both sides of the blood vessel is called the target cells. And there's another way for the humoral factors to work. Is the second one. There's an endocrine cell secrete. See the little, the three black dots. That's a substance that is going to be secreted, and it's secreted and affect the neighboring target cells and their receptors to catch the substance or the humoral factors. And the third one, the white cell, it produced something and it worked on itself. Okay, there's three types of humoral factors working pathway. And cellular mechanism is a ATP enzyme, and any imbalance or disturbance of this ATP enzyme level can lead to cell damage, because ATP is the direct energy a cell can use. And molecular mechanism, DNA, RNA, protein level, and you know how important and how popular it is in the field of science. People are crazy about the structure, the function, the theory, and the renovation or the biological project we can do on DNA, RNA, and protein to have some breakthrough about fatal diseases, especially for malignant tumor, cancer. Okay, the general rules for pathogenesis of disease is damage and anti-damage response. It's like a battle between the two. Damage is usually made when a variety of harmful insults attack the body. During this process, anti-damage responses are also induced in the body to restore the normal situation, like its invasion. There are enemies at the gate to invade our country, and we would be activated as a soldier to work against them to get them out and keep them out. So in our body, it's like a defense battle. Here is an example about severe burn will cause pain, infection, and plasma loss. And it will induce shock. An infection will induce ischemia, injury of cells. And the plasma loss will cause the blood pressure drop and blood volume decreased. They're all damages. And further on, we'll have stress and WBC increase, white blood cell counts, and blood coagulation, and SAMS excitations. SAMS is a sympathetical and adrenal medullary system. And the cardio output and blood redistribution and blood flow to heart and brain will increase. More cardio output and the blood redistribution will favor the most important organs like heart and brain, so they won't be short of blood supply to these important organs. That's very important for us to be alive, to stay alive. And on the left side, the increase of WBC and blood coagulation will WBCs, we all know, it's soldiers to work to fight against infections, the anti-infection factors. And the coagulation will lead to the decrease of plasma loss. We'll stop further loss of plasma. That's rehabilitation. So you can see these are the anti-damage factors. And who will win depends on how strong and how long the damage will last. And also vice versa will depend on how strong the anti-damage factors or systems can work.